Okay, welcome all to the June 25th meeting of the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. I have to advise everyone that this meeting is being recorded, and we begin every meeting in Dudley with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the minutes of June 4th.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the minutes from June 4th.
Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Reorganization.
Make a motion, we table till next month, we look forward.
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Unanimous. PFAS settlement update. That's on you. Thank you. And first off, thank you for sitting in on that. There was a Zoom meeting from Napoli and Skolnick to talk about the
Different options for settlement.
different options for the settlement. We did receive our first check from the settlement, $115,000.
Ended up being 71,000. It was 71,000 that the check was, because but the attorneys
Oh, they took their
all of it.
part, yes. Okay.
So I had sent you out all about an email about the settlement that we got it, and then I had sent you out a follow-up email after I went through the Zoom meeting, and basically showing you the slides, and what they're saying is there's different options. You can maintain on the course that we're on and get our full settlement, well, get the settlement over the course of many years, or they offer an expedited settlement where you can get your full amount all by the end of this year, but there's a,
30%.
yeah, there's a percentage fee charged for that. The reason why they offer this is in case the company should go under, you are guaranteed, you have your settlement prior. The settlement can take over the course of 10 years before we receive all of our money. But for us, the majority of the settlement comes now, and then the amount that's coming later is smaller amounts. You know what I mean? It's not, we're getting the bulk of it in the beginning, and then it tapers down to smaller amounts. They offer this with the fee assessed, and they take a percentage, you know. It's an outside vendor that does this, that buys it all up, pays us, but they take a percentage. Right, they take their cut. And it's only based on the secondary amount of the settlement, not the entire settlement amount. So once you've received your first two settlement payments, those are quick ones, then it's the rest of the settlement amount in another lump sum.
Okay, so the lump sum, the first payment was 20%, second payment is supposed to be 40, I think?
I thought it
Or
was
50?
30%.
And
But, so then.
the rest of it is
staggered.
staggered out for 6 years.
A total payout, we're ended up with over $1 million. It was
Over $1 million.
yeah, that we will be getting. And the first payout, the attorneys take their fees and everything already. So they're already paid.
They took more than 50%?
No, they took,
They said they want to take 50% of their payment,
they took all
their
their.
fee.
They took all their payments came out the first settlement.
Oh, okay.
It showed on that paper.
That's why it's 70 and not 120, okay. All right.
No, our check?
I thought it was going to be 130, but maybe they took more.
I can't I've had so
Okay.
many I've had so
Right.
many different, I apologize. I sent you all the first settlement. Maybe it was 130. I don't recall. There's been a lot of numbers lately with a lot of different things. So the decision has to be made if you want to continue on the settlement payout as we are, or if you wanted to go forward with having a percentage of the money taken out. And let me back, they couldn't give any definite numbers yet.
Mhm. Of course.
Okay, so, and let me just tell you, I had to, by by Monday, I had to sign up that we may be interested, no commitment, just that there's a possibility. So I did that just to hold the placeholder till after we had the meeting. Because I don't care what you guys decide, but it's your decision, not mine. So I just held the placeholder, and that's why we had to have the meeting tonight, because we have to have a decision to them by Friday. It was a very short
So
window.
this is 3M, correct?
This is 3M, yeah. They don't foresee anything, but this is something now that they offer to all clients, if you wanted to do. And, you know, some people, I'm sorry?
Company 3M?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was Clyde's Excavating that we were getting a settlement from, I might be worried about them going under. I'm not too concerned about 3M going under.
But even-
Personally, that's
Even
my-
if a company goes under, we'd still have a lien against their assets, right?
As with everyone else, yes.
As with everyone else,
Yeah.
and just the chances are that you will never get that money. From the settlement, you will be last
Yeah.
to get that money.
I'm sure they'd be, the debtors are.
Right,
all ranked,
right,
I'm
and that's
sure
what the
settlement-
attorneys explained, you know, that a settlement is kind of last, the bigger debts are gonna be taken care of first.
And I think it's safe to say that they spread out those payments over a number of years to allow the company to absorb that
Correct, because I'm trying to, I
that debt.
apologize.
You know, if they had to absorb it all at once, you wouldn't be able to.
I think the final payout comes in like 2035 for the
Oh,
PFAS
wow.
settlement. Yeah, but like I said, it diminishes down, and again, this was just a guideline, this isn't specifically geared to, because it was a general presentation to everyone who's gotten a settlement, you know, so then they'll gear it down more specific, but there is the fee, and, you know, it depends.
I don't think we're gonna take the money up front because, I mean, like you said, I don't think the company's going anywhere. And, yeah, spending 250 to 300,000 on the settlement just to get the money up front,
I agree.
that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, I mean, I seem to remember a 30% fee. If it were on the total amount, that's about $300,000. If it's on 50%, that's about $150,000.
Yeah.
That's a chunk of change.
Yep.
I don't know, it's.
I just didn't want to not bring it forward to you,
No,
Because-
we need to make the decision.
so.
That's why we get the big bucks.
Huh?
No, I think paying a third party is a waste. It's no different than the lottery. You're not that much, just so you get 10 years earlier, you still do that.
And I'll make a motion that we take this settlement over payments.
Okay, that's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And that'll be 4-0.
Thank you. I will email them tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Bates Road pressure study follow-up. Yeah, over the last weekend, I didn't, since last Thursday, I haven't had a whole lot of stuff to do. Boy, that was a dumb thing to say. But in any case, I sat and read through the Bates pressure study, the wastewater asset management, and I pulled out the water asset management plan and read through them. We've got a lot of notes on them, but on the agenda is the Bates pressure study. I know a draft was sent out in email form. There are hard copies of it. It does go through everything, goes through every station and what the concerns are with every pump station. Actually, no, this is the pressure study. It goes through the whole area.
The booster stations.
And there's three, they have three proposals of ways to deal with it. Building a plant, building a booster station at the tank. There are two different plans for using the tan yard station in two different ways to boost that, increase the high pressure area. Right now, the high pressure area is from Tan Yard Road out up to Nichols, and that runs down past Shepherd Hill, I believe, and down to Mason Road at Sawmill. I believe that's where the high pressure, low pressure zones meet. And so that's the high pressure area up there. And there are a couple of proposals to loop that back and bring it down and cover the areas around Airport Road, D'Alessandro Ave, Hall Road, Dudley Hill. And I believe that then the two different plans are to include out Lyons Road out past the courthouse, and one to not. And then there was also cutting a line through to Alton Drive.
Did Brian speak to you?
No.
Okay. There was a meeting this morning at 9 about the Bates Pressure Road study.
Oh, was there?
Yep.
Okay, didn't know anything about it.
Yep. You were on that. I sent out an email to everybody. It was here in person. Brian went to it. It was scheduled
Was it?
weeks ago.
Okay, I don't remember. Okay.
And he said he was going to reach out to you because they came up with, it was the whatever the $7 million one is the one that is the most feasible.
I think that was Tanyard Road.
I apologize. He just told me numbers. See, it's all about numbers this week.
Let's see, recommendation alternatives.
Yeah,
I think he said is that the second one?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to,
Yeah, here. Okay,
Because they had a meeting this morning and Brian went to it.
and then then the fourth one was to put up a golf ball, or a bigger tank
Yeah.
to raise the water higher up to create.
And I believe, don't quote me because this was just a quick
I
impasse.
don't remember any of them being 7 million, that's the thing. I thought we were up around 11.
alternative 2 is the Tanyard Road booster. I think that was the
Okay.
7 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the least expensive that I remember.
They felt it was the most feasible and the least expensive, and this will at least help to satisfy DEP at this point, that this is what we're going to be working. And again, this was just like in a 3-minute Brian flying in the office saying, da-da-da-da-da-da, I'm going to try to reach out to Scott.
Okay.
I was like, okay. So.
I didn't know anything about that meeting. I'll look through my emails
Yeah.
to see
Does any of that,
how I missed it.
any of those address the pressure up at the other tank?
I have no
Up
idea.
at- No. Oh, you're talking about the low pressure up in the, no. That wouldn't do anything about that. The only way to increase pressure up there is to
Same
do the
thing.
same thing. You'd have to raise the elevation of the tank, or, the area in the back of the tank on Dresser Hill. There's a little bit of there's a low pressure area there. It's not as bad as the area down around Bates.
Yeah, alternative 2 was, their initial was 11.6. That's your lowest cost option at this point.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, it's 11.6, okay. you
but Brian
said-
said it was 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they
Whatever-
put a high contingency. on it.
Whatever, it's the 7 million, and I thought he said number 2 for
Yeah,
7 million.
Because that's the total capital cost, and I
Yeah.
think 7 was like construction costs, so
Okay.
that's, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But nothing is,
Nothing is concrete yet.
no, but this is just what they're, I believe, gonna propose and put out to DEP at this point, just to try to keep,
Okay, to keep the peace.
that's what I'm understanding.
Okay.
It's 7 million, it's a good price tag.
Yes, it is, considering the fact that we're already,
Maxed out. you would say.
we're about 14 million deep, so, right now. Okay, doesn't get any easier. Anything, what was that?
With Bates, no.
No, okay, I know it's not on the agenda, but Dudley, the wastewater asset management is a draft, and they were looking for some information. There are two, I think I mentioned it to you last week, there were two green balloons in it.
I sent back.
Yeah, we answered him last
Yeah,
meeting.
we answered them 2 meetings ago.
The Webster projects list?
Yeah,
Okay,
that,
all right.
yep, yep,
Then this is an old print,
Yep.
okay.
yep. Yeah, I had given you an email a couple meetings ago. We went over the questions. I answered everything I could, gave the rest to George and Brian.
Okay, so it did
Yep.
get answered, okay,
Yep.
that was the only
Yep.
thing that, there was the Webster projects, and then the FY 22, 23, 24 revenues.
They have those.
And then the comments that I had for that was we need larger maps, because the maps that are in here are, they're not even pullouts.
Yeah, so.
That's the map.
Right.
Yeah, no. I don't think a 15-year-old with 20/20 vision could read that.
So we do have it all electronically as well.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
electronic, but we need some, okay, and then Appendix H in large form, which again is,
Yep.
That's a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet of all the streets in the system and rating them and what, but that's damn near impossible to read as well. Okay. Okay, so we're good on that. Anybody have any questions about tie and bond correspondence? Is there anything?
Yeah, I sent you an email today.
I was a little confused. What are they, they're asking something for the Board of Selectmen?
Yeah, so for the signing authority for the Dudley OSG grant application, Tie and Bond needs the Water Sewer Commissioners to ask the Board of Selectmen to vote in the TA to sign the SSO grant application. If it is acceptable to the Commissioners, we can prepare the documents for the Board of Selectmen to sign. This will be similar to how the water and sewer asset management grant programs were processed.
Okay, so we need to get a signature from the
So-
procurement officer in order to.
So you have to ask the Board of Selectmen to vote the TA in to sign the grant application. That's what they're saying. I printed off the email because I was.
So do we need to
Yeah,
make a
it's easy.
motion, or are we looking at just consensus? Because it says ask the board, it sounds like the Board of Selectmen have the authority and we don't.
Correct, well, it's because the procurement officer, so they have to
The town administrator is
assign.
a procurement officer, and he has told me in the past that, because I've raised concern, well, I mean, you could encumber us with all kinds of stuff, and he said he has no intentions
So-
of signing anything or doing anything without the
What-
express.
What I would do
permission
is
of the
make a
board.
motion. I think it should come in the form of a motion so you have it documented that the board authorized the Board of Selectmen to authorize
Asks the town administrator
to do
to
this.
sign that. That's the sanitary sewer overflow
Yep.
Yep.
grant. That's to help.
So how do we word that? So that we make sure we get this right?
Basically, I would think that you want to ask the Board of Selectmen to vote that the town administrator sign the SSO grant application on behalf of the Water Sewer Commissioners through Tie and Bond.
Okay.
Does that,
Yep,
did you write that down?
kind of, yep. I got enough chicken scratch here.
Okay.
All right, so I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that the Water Sewer Commission ask the Board of Selectmen to ask the town administrator to sign the SSO application on behalf of the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
Water sewer commission.
On the, Board of Water Sewer Commissioners.
Okay.
Okay,
Who second? I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? We need to, any help we can get to get the funds
Yep.
is, and we would certainly sign it if we had the authority to. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
So I will email Ty and Bond and CC the TA and assistant TA so that they can get it over to the selectmen, make them aware, and go from there.
Shut-off notices.
Okay. So, we had a total of 122 letters go out for shut-offs.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was over 120 days, and that was people with a $500 or more balance. Because if they had $100 or $200, it's gonna be more the next time anyway, so
Yeah.
I wanted,
So we cut it off at $500.
right, just because there was such a large amount, and this is our first time, we capped it, so $500 or more. We did the letter, sent that out. Then we did a posting. The second notice was posted on, due to some vacations in the water department. It was 30 days after was June 13th, but the posting never got placed out till the 23rd due to vacations and coverage issues. When
So they
we,
got an extra week.
so when we posted, let me just make sure, yep, we posted 50, no, those are what I apologize. We posted 77. Okay, so from 122 to 77.
So 50
So, and then
took care of it, okay.
as of
You paid?
Yeah,
roughly,
Roughly,
yeah. And then as of today, at 3 o'clock, I went through the list again, checked all balances. We have 51 left on the list
okay.
that have not paid. I would say,
Did not contact this yet?
no, but at least 20 of them have contacted me
Okay.
and said that they'll be getting payments prior to Monday, because that's what the shut-off notice said would be, Monday. So, just to give you an idea, it was 122,144 and 30 cents that was outstanding.
Right,
We've taken in already $98,081.51. So that's almost $100,000 that has been. So a lot of people are very confused. They think that they are allowed to lien it to their real estate and that the mortgage company pays their water sewer bill. So the collector's office has been explaining to them, as well as I've been explaining to them, that that is not a standard practice and that will not be happening anymore. That if you,
it's not fair to those people who
Correct,
pay their bills
correct.
on time
so,
to
and
carry that debt.
the majority of them have not paid their water sewer bill since last fiscal year.
The majority of the ones that aren't paying?
The majority of the ones on this list
Yeah,
had not paid
In over a year.
in well over a year.
Okay.
We're talking April, March of 2024.
okay, so,
So, and, you know, I haven't had anyone upset, like mad or yelling or anything, because really, there's not a lot they can say when basically I can say to them, well, your last payment was made on April of 2020, 2023. That kind
We
of.
get the upset when we go to shut them off, though. Yeah.
yeah,
So I have some that have called, like I said, probably about 20 of them that I know have called, and I've made notes in the accounts, that they said they were gonna pay either Thursday or Friday or Monday.
mm-hmm,
So, the guys have to go out again to tag these next ones with the third and final notice,
right,
and that shut-off will be coming.
Is there a date on that final notice?
There will be. I'm gonna print them up tomorrow morning, because now what has happened, it has run into where Monday should be the shut-off.
mm-hmm,
Monday, I'm on vacation.
okay,
Okay.
If you shut them off, there's no one in the office.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
don't mind.
So my
We can give them
question
another, we can give
was
them a week.
to go to the 7th. And when I come in on the 7th, first thing I'm gonna do is check these, however many are left, to see who's paid and who hasn't, and have those shut-offs being done.
And that's when painting in the streets.
Yep,
and-
painting in the street will be tomorrow.
too.
Oh, will be tomorrow.
Will be
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay.
So these 50, what'd I say, 51, will get painted in the streets. Even if you called and told me that you were gonna pay, you're still getting painted in the streets because I have no payment.
Yep.
And you haven't paid for over a year, and we gave you an additional 45 days now, plus, and you still haven't even, and our conversation has been, show me good faith.
Exactly.
You have a $1,500 water bill that I've had people who've paid 500, 500, 500. I've had people who have paid half of it and said, by the end of July, you'll have the rest. And my comment is, fine, but if not, you're back on the shut-off list. At the end of July, if you're not paid off, you're back on the shut-off list. And I have notes
That's
everywhere,
reasonable. That's reasonable.
and that's what I said. I said, we're not asking, we're not looking to make it hard on you. We're just looking for good faith. You haven't paid, and it's not fair to our other users who
When I
have.
go to Mark tomorrow, are they leaving anything at the house?
Yeah, there'll be the,
A door hanger, the third door hanger.
yeah, it's bright red,
Okay.
and they'll mark in the street. So, I mean, I think it's been very successful,
Yeah.
Clearly, financially it is.
and this all came in prior to the end of the fiscal year, which is a plus, that's, because it is part of this fiscal year.
Yep.
And if we had leaned it, it wouldn't be paid until well into next fiscal year, which
So
creates
we-
the problem.
We started the process of doing this in January. It's now almost July, so it's been 6 months of working through
And
getting this going.
Right, and getting
So
the
there's been
little,
plenty
oh,
of
this
time.
doesn't work, that doesn't work,
Plenty of time to.
Yep.
Okay, and I can't really say, yeah, I guess I'm sorry that this had to be done, but the bottom line is, we have bills to pay, we have
That's what I
things that
mean.
we need to do, and it's not fair to the users who do pay on time to carry that debt for year after year after year. And if it's nothing more than a public education, that no, it doesn't, that leaning to your property tax isn't an appropriate way to handle the bill. Mass Electric or National Grid would never,
Correct.
Charter would never.
And I did have one person call in and question me that how can we shut the water off when I have a young child and, at home? And I said, as Bob had stated prior, that we are different than National Grid. We don't follow the same rules, and we do have the right to shut the water off. There are no restrictions on us. So,
Okay.
just to give you an update, so I was rather
So we've
pleased.
100,000 out of, almost 100,000 out of
Yeah.
100 and.
Like 23,000.
So a majority of it's been,
Yeah, it's been good, I think, and I think as we continue, it's gonna get less and less and less, because people are now,
people are aware that,
Yep.
and if you pay them as, on cycle, it's not that bad.
no. And like I've explained to people, even if you can't afford it at all, pay $100 a month. Just come in and pay $100, it'll knock it down some,
Yep.
Anything's better than nothing.
Okay. Budget review. We've got of course, the revenue report, it's kind of skewed, but it's hard to hard to see it's showing we have 375,000 outstanding.
We still do.
We do still have that much.
Yeah, but that's
current. That's current.
That's 120 days to here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's,
Okay. All right, and then the budgets. We're starting to see more red while we're at the end of the year. I think, what, we got one more week?
one week and a day, so we have to split.
So, and I would hope there's no spending spree to try to. Any questions on
So
it?
low.
having, which one, water or sewer?
Oh,
So,
Well, sewer, we were without an employee for a while. He was out.
Only one vehicle. That barely spent 50% on fuel.
Yep.
And then water, where's water, fuel? Why am I not seeing it?
It's on there. It's up, it's under gas. Which one's, one says gas, one says fuel.
Yeah, water says gasoline.
Yeah, gasoline.
actually says GAC.
Oh, gasoline, there it is. Okay, yeah, that's.
No, that's
36
GAC filter.
That's GAC. The gasoline is at 36%.
And we also had,
Yeah.
we had somebody out as well.
Right.
So,
You know, less vehicles
But-
and they're not,
not running around the
running
same as
around out of
before.
town as much.
They're not running out of town?
Not,
Yeah, some of the numbers are over. Most of the ones that are over are the ones that we depend on others to give us the number. They gave us the wrong numbers last year. But overall, if you look at the total spending, we're not in bad shape. I think sewer's at 80% and water's at 65–66%. So there's gonna be some money going into retained earnings. Okay, any questions on the budgets? Okay.
Hit us with Webster.
Webster True Up. I know we got a letter from Webster. We have that, I'm not sure what's going on between our consultant and theirs, but they have said that if they don't get a response from us by I believe it's the end of this month, or first week of July, that they will they will invoke arbitration as per the IMA. So I will get a hold of Mr. Brinkman tomorrow and see see where we're at on this, so that we can get a number, and then I'll get in touch with Mr. Andre, if it's something that we can give them at least some kind of an answer on. I will get a hold of Mr. Andre and follow up on that. Anything else on, there's no other old business. Superintendent's report is in front of us. One thing on number one on water, we are starting to see breakthrough on the GAC 50%. We're starting to see PFAS numbers creep up at the 50% of 50% level of the median. So it's creeping down. So I'm not sure what that means for time frame, but it's just, and it's not super high, but the numbers are not. They're starting to creep up. So.
but just to make it clear, if anybody's watching it, that the water that's going out.
Oh, the water, yeah.
Just
That's at
so that
50%
yeah.
of the first tank. The water goes through that 50%, and then it goes through another 100% of another
Correct.
tank.
Just so
before it
the
comes out.
public understands
Yes.
and not calling.
Everything, the water
Thank you.
leaving the station is non-detect.
Yes.
It's just that it's starting to show that it's using up some of the media. We probably got, I would say we've probably got years still before before we have anything will leave the station that's any, so that GAC number in the budget will be getting used
Just for the public out there.
next year maybe.
What's it gonna cost us to switch the tank?
We have budgeted 50,000, and I've been told that conservatively, it should not use all of that, but it could. They take the media out, that has to be sent away, and then new media is brought in and filled in. In the meantime, they switch over to the other tank, and then when that happens, instead of flowing this way, they flow it this way. You know, they flow it backwards flow it in the other direction through the tanks. 2 becomes 1 and 1 becomes 2. It's all, it's still looking good. We're not using it as much, we're not using it nearly as fast as they were originally saying in the beginning. They were predicting having to change the media every year to year and a half, and it looks like we're gonna be 2 years anyways before we have to change the first tank. So, it's looking good.
What did they do with the backup?
This is the loader control system, I don't know. First I saw it today. I know they did a walkthrough today with GEG. And did they do the paving?
They did the paving.
They did the paving.
Yep.
The last rainstorm, the corner of the person who has been in before.
On George Street.
The corner of George and Warsaw, where the water was diverting down his driveway and going over a stone wall and washing out his backyard. That last big rain, we got a call about something happening on 3rd Street, I believe.
5th.
Was it 5th? I
Fifth.
thought it was 3rd. But in any case, on one of the other streets, so I drove up there in the rain and took a look, and I took pictures. But yeah, the problem with Warsaw, absolutely. He has rubber sandbags at the end of his driveway, and they had moved. So the water was getting behind him and running right down his driveway and over the wall. So yeah, that was absolutely, I saw that. The other one, I'm not sure that it's really our problem, but George and the guys are working with the highway department to fix it. It goes down George.
GEG put a berm on 5th today,
On 5th.
and on George. He did both.
They did okay. There are a number of issues with the other, that property on 5th. But we worked with them to try to get it solved. Any other questions on the superintendent's report? Okay. Public comments? Nope. Board comments?
Let me just text her, that will be finishing up.
A couple questions to Jen, just
Okay. Oh, she's taking care of both meetings.
Yeah. So, just let me, I apologize, 1 second. Okay.
how do we stand about going out of town?
So the samples are getting picked up. I can tell you that. The samples are getting picked up. Yep. Unless there's only one, the MPA.
Yeah, there was
The
one that
MPA.
goes out to Marshfield, I think.
Yeah, that's the only one that does not.
They don't pick up?
No, because it has to be done in a certain amount of time, it has to be driven down, from what I understand.
And that's what I've been told as well.
I'm sorry?
Who's driving?
I believe, yeah.
That's something to be discussed.
Well, let's discuss it.
Drive down and drop off and wait and come back.
No, drive down, drop it off. It takes a period of time for them to, those take, what they say, some of those take weeks for them to get results.
Yeah, the MPA.
Cooler water or just a sample
It,
bottle?
they're sample bottles, but they're cooler and they have to start test within a certain amount of time after the sample's taken. That's the particulates and the solids that are in the water. Evidence of groundwater infiltration into the wells.
Does the treatment place provide cooler, or is that?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know about that.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Do we use the same service?
For the MPA, it's a different company.
That's a different lab.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean, the one there is going all the way to
Right.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a different lab than we normally use.
Morel?
RI Analytical
Everything.
does everything else.
Yep. Morel does the
Yeah.
MPA.
I read that report as well. Did a lot of reading this weekend.
My question, Mr. Chairman, is that a good use of our superintendent's time?
I would say no. No, I mean, anybody can deliver that.
Not for the services we've used in Boston, you go for $40. I mean, it's costing me 40 for just to turn the key.
Right.
It's not
Yep.
moving yet.
Oh, yeah, using a courier service.
Yeah.
Can we get a list of couriers that will get paid?
I would prefer if you spoke with your superintendent about this,
Okay.
because anytime I get a different story as to why. So I'd prefer if you guys spoke with him and found out.
Okay.
Can we have that on agenda next week?
Or, I mean, you could send one of the employees, if it has to be one of our people, send one of our people,
Yeah, it's gotta be the apprentice, the lowest.
yeah. Proper use, a good use of
Yes.
assets. Okay.
And what's with the fire hydrant?
Oh, Mill Road.
I've heard nothing.
I was told that that is not a breakaway hydrant, and he didn't want to lose the hydrant because it's been solid. And I don't know, I didn't like the explanation, but he just had them bury it in concrete rather than raise it.
Is there a reason why he didn't have them change it to a breakaway?
He did not say. So at this point, it's in the sidewalk. The options are, I mean, we'll have to deal with the decision making, but our options are, leave it as is until it breaks, or
Dig it up and put it in a
or
breakaway?
dig up the sidewalk. And at this point, it would be at our own expense.
Yeah. Well, what's the expense gonna be if somebody hits it and pulls the main? If it isn't a breakaway?
I don't know. I can get more information. We'll see.
Do you want it as an agenda item next month?
We can
Yeah.
we can discuss it, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else?
I got nothing.
I just want to publicly say thank you for your efforts. I know what you went through the last month, and just keeping everything moving, and the collections and everything that's going on. It's appreciated.
If we could give you a bonus and.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion to
Anybody?
adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?